There's a lot going on in the community tonight. We realize that after we scheduled things, so we appreciate even more the fact that you all were able to find time in your busy schedules to come and be here. Welcome to tonight. This public event is co-sponsored by the League of Women Voters of the Grand Haven area and Central Park Place. Thank you to Shar with Central Park Place for her assistance in making this space available to us and setting up for the evening. City staff did that. My name is Gail Ringelberg, and I will serve as the moderator for tonight's forum. The Voter Service Committee of our league encourages political responsibility through informed and active participation of citizens and their government. We believe that active, aware citizens are essential to a responsive and healthy community. The league is national in scope. We are a volunteer, nonprofit, nonpartisan organization. We never support a particular candidate or political party. We are open to all voting age citizens. Membership in the league will help you become informed and involved in the governmental process. Your financial support will enable us to publish facts and inform citizens. For information on membership or how to make a financial contribution, please speak to any of the league volunteers here tonight. We're all wearing name badges. On Tuesday, November 5th, you will be asked to vote for a number of races, local to national, from school board to president. The focus of our event tonight is limited to the Grand Haven School Board. This nonpartisan election, 5 candidates are running for 2 6-year positions, and 3 are running for 1 position that will expire in 2 years. 5 candidates are here tonight, and we thank you again for finding time in your schedules. Steve Skodak RSVP'd that he had a conflict, and 1 candidate did not respond to the league's invitation, and as I said earlier, the other candidate that's not here did respond that she would be in attendance. We encourage you to do further research on candidates for this and other races. And check out VOTE 411, Vote 411. It's a League of Women Voters online voter guide. Our printed guide is available here tonight out in the foyer. The format for this evening is a question and answer period led by me, and then time for each candidate to be at a table so that you can ask them individual questions. The questions I will be asking have been developed by league members, and the candidates have not seen them. There will not be any questions from the audience tonight. Instead, we encourage you to visit the candidates at their tables. For your convenience, in the foyer at our league table, there is a list of local offices and the candidates running for those offices. This list includes the school board. Feel free to take any materials you want. Candidates will be in this room. So after the presentations, please grab a snack and then engage with your questions with the candidates. I ask at this point that you do turn off your cell phones and or silence them. So as we proceed, the candidates are seated before you in alphabetical order. We have grouped those seeking the 6-year term on your left and seeking the 2-year term on your right. We will rotate the question as to who answers first, and we'll start at that end, we'll work our way this way. So what will happen is that I'm going to ask a question, you're going to get it first, Tommy, and then it'll go to Joshua, and then it'll come down this way, and then the second question, Joshua gets to start, comes back, so we do it that way. The same question will be asked of each of you. You will each have 2 minutes to respond. Timekeepers tonight is Joyce Cawthon and Nancy O'Neill. And they will hold up a sign at the 1 minute mark. And then at 2 minutes, they will hold up a stop sign. And we ask that you finish the sentence you're on, but then stop. So let us begin. This is not gonna work with this. Sorry about the back feedback here. So So, Tommy, beginning with you, oh, and make sure when there's a little delay on the mic to, so it turns green.
Test, test. Is it working?
You hearing? Okay, good.
Yeah.
We're gonna begin with you, and the first question, and I can repeat the question if anybody needs it repeated. Please introduce yourself and tell us 2 specific priorities you want to address if elected, and how would you like them resolved?
My name is Tommy Van Hill. I work in the, I'm a tool and die maker, so work in skilled trades. And I think our 2 biggest issues is trust with the embezzlement we had a few years ago, and I don't feel like there's been enough done with that. And that's just getting trust back from the community. Our schools are falling apart, is what I keep hearing going around to the meetings that Kristen's having, the new superintendent. They shut our playgrounds down, and there's just a lack of maintenance. I think that's a big issue. So we need better stewards of our money to rebuild our trust. And the other biggest thing, I got a blank. It's government overreach. The government's putting a lot of stuff into the schools right now, CRT, DEI, and I don't see how that's helping our children learn anything. It's creating more division than anything. It's a very controversial issue, and I don't think there's really any place for it in our schools. Our kids are there to learn, just to get education, to better themselves for our communities, and to get ready for the workforce and their life. And yeah, I don't see how that's helping them at all.
Josh.
My name is Josh Furt. I own a machine repair business. I've owned a few different businesses in the last few years.
I don't think your mic's in.
Is it not working?
I mean, we can hear your voice.
Yeah, it's on.
Hold it right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah.
Sorry. You can tell I don't sing on the weekends. All right, my name is Josh Furt. I own a machine repair business right now. I've owned several businesses in the last several years. This is the only one I currently still have. I sold the other ones off. So when it comes to business, I have a little bit of knowledge here and there. So I guess my 2 things that would be my main priorities would be safety of our children. So I think the safety standpoint in all the schools. I got 5 kids in 3 different schools right now. I've been through pretty much every school in the city here. So I see which schools do a great job, and there's a few schools that could need a little bit of help as far as that goes, as far as security goes. So I would like to revisit some of those areas and see what we could do to make them like the other schools do. Some of the schools that are doing a great job, they have some really good plans in place, and maybe it's a communication issue as far as, we can do a little better on the schools that are lacking a little bit. So I would say the other one would be probably transparency with within the school board and the school and the parents and the people. I know there's things that I'm still learning, and I got a 14-year-old all the way down to twin 6-year-olds, and I don't even hear about some of this stuff. So it would be nice to have a better transparency between, especially with the proposals going on with trying to get a new school for Lakeshore and whatnot. So how do we fix that? To be honest with you, I don't have an answer other than hopefully we can communicate better to the parents and people around. So.
All right, so it is that. Hi, I'm Cindy Cashmere, and I am a small business owner in town. I own C2C Gallery. I'm a 3rd generation small business owner. My family's been here for 40 operations. The two priorities that I believe have been issues for our school board has been communication. I truly believe that that's one of the reasons that the bonds have not passed. Done a little bit of homework, and if you were to look at surrounding schools, we're paying 1/10 of what other local communities are paying right now for millage. So we're either really good at managing our money, or it's time for us to spend a little money and support our actual facilities. I do believe that one of the reasons why the last bond millage didn't pass was because we didn't get enough information to the public. And we need to do a better job of just showing that we've done our homework and what was that homework, so that the residents can say, oh, we do know what's going on. I also believe, as I've been walking and talking with lots of people, safety is a concern for children and grandchildren as they attend school. Hopefully we'll never have a problem in our schools, but if you've been to the schools recently, you'll notice that there are numbers on all of the exterior doors. That's the first step that we've made in making sure that if there was a problem, we can call our emergency crews and say, go to this door, this is where you need to enter the building. And our new superintendent, she has a military background. And when she attends different events in our schools, she's looking around and paying attention. She's looking where our weak points are. And so she'll be able to modify our policies and help us to have more secure buildings.
Hi, I'm Crystal Boyd, and I am currently on the school board. I was appointed, and I am now running for a 6-year seat. I am the owner of the Unicorn Tavern in Grand Haven. I also have some experience with businesses and the economics of it. My two priorities, which, it's so hard to narrow it down to just two, because one priority, it can be fractured into many different things. But I think that the infrastructure, and if you look at what's happening at the high school currently today, you'll see that definitely we do have an issue with our infrastructure. We have done extensive reports. We've had people come in, survey our buildings. We have the information. We know what we need, and it's out there. And that is my second priority, is how do we get the people to the information? We hire people, we do reports, we get the reports out there, we send letters, we do lots of things, but we are clearly not getting the information to the people or the people to the information. So we need to build that trust, and we need to build a better communication system to get the information where it needs to be.
Can you hear me? I'm going to stand up because that's how I was raised. My name is Heather Reimers, and I'm a mother of, our daughter just walked in there. Hi, Mara. I'm a mother of 3 district students. I have a child at Rosie, a child at White Pines, and a child at the high school. I work for a nonprofit, nonpartisan organization called No Labels out of Washington, D.C. that tries to get Congress to work together to solve America's toughest problems, despite what letter is next to their name. I have been a high school social studies teacher. I've also homeschooled my kids. So I'm excited and passionate about education. I think our district is at a tipping point. I think if we don't continue to invest in our schools, then inadvertently we're not investing in our community. And so I think that's the #1 issue that we need to address together and figure it out, not only with the families, but also the community members that are invested in our schools. I also think that we need to level the playing field. We have like a 70-30 success rate in Grand Haven, and we have 2 elementary schools that have never received a blue ribbon. It would be really nice to see if we could make that 30% go down and the 70% go up, and really graduate kids from our district with the skills they need to tackle this ever-changing, more difficult world that we are faced with every single day. So thank you.
Thank you. The next question, Josh, we'll start with you. And some of you have touched on it, so this will give you 2 minutes to elaborate on it. Due to various reasons, the community has expressed a lack of trust in the Grand Haven School Board and the administration. If elected, what will you do to restore trust?
I think the first thing we would do is, like I said, go back to the transparency thing. I would like to reach out to more parents and get a lot more parents involved, especially with the ones that got kids in school yet. I think it's important to get everybody involved on decision making and see, especially if, whatever ideas that we're coming across in our meetings, I think it'd be really important to have a better way of relaying that to the community and especially the parents out there. I'm concerned. I got 5 kids in school, and watching them grow up right now, and I hear a lot of feedback coming back. Some more than others. Some kids are a little bit more vocal, but a lot of feedback coming back at, hey, it'd be nice if our school could do this, or why doesn't our school do this? My friend's school in Zealand's doing this. It would definitely be nice to, like I said, I don't know the exact answer as far as how to set something up where we could do that, but I would definitely work my butt off so we can get that solved.
Thank you. Now it's gonna go to Cindy.
So lack of trust, it takes time to rebuild trust. And what I first think about is my form of communication. With my gallery, if you were a client there, or a customer or a friend, you would know that when you walked in the door of the gallery, our job was to educate you. My staff and myself, we would go around and we would teach you all about the artists, and we would talk with you, and no one ever felt out of place in our gallery. It wasn't stuffy. And I would say that that's my strength, is communicating and providing information, and I've done it basically weekly, daily, for months and years with the gallery, and I would do the same thing for the schools. We need to communicate more, and I really truly believe that because I've served on so many different boards, nonprofit and the Vermont School Board for 2 different terms, I know how to actively listen. I can ask questions and then ask the next question, and then communicate it back to you so that you can then think about how you feel about that information. And the thing about community is you need to participate. We need to have some community forums and have conversations and talk about, this is what we're wrestling with. What do you think? This is your school, your community. What do you want to see happen? How do you want your children educated? And it's a 2-way street.
So, I kind of wrote down the first thing, time. It does take time to rebuild trust, and there is no doubt that there has been a breakdown. I think we are dealing with the fact that, when we want to build that trust, we understand that that's a word, right? You can trust us, we're working harder. And so, not just the words, but you have to do it with action. And again, that takes time to see what we have done, and to see what we can continue to do. One of the first things that we did as a board to try to rebuild these bridges is to listen to the community when they asked us to hire a superintendent, not from within the district. That was a tough decision, and it was a lot of work, and we did. We reached out, we hired what I think is a fantastic superintendent, and one of the reasons that we chose her was because we believed that she had what it took to get out into the community and help us rebuild that communication, and to create this space where we can show the community what it is that we're doing. A lot of the actions are happening. We can't right now get the community to show up when we want to talk about it. And so that is one of the things that is difficult. But I'm sorry, I wrote something down here. So what we need to do is just continue to show that we are actively working to rebuild that trust. We hired a communication professional because we know that that is an area that we are lacking, and it is our hope that that person can help us communicate to the community and help us listen to what it is that the community is saying, and will get us going in the right direction, because it takes an entire community to keep a school district healthy, but it also takes a healthy school district to keep a community healthy. And everybody in this community, whether they have schools and the children in the building or not, should be buying into the fact that the school has to be healthy to keep industry and, yeah, I got that time thing, that's gonna happen a lot to me. So, there you go. Come and see me if you have more questions.
It's okay if I'm staying. Okay. So I agree with everyone. Communication is key. There's a book called Extreme Ownership that's written by 2 Navy SEALs, and it talks about bottom-up, top-down communication and having a shared mission and vision. And if everybody understands what their contribution is to achieve that mission and achieve that vision, it's a lot easier to understand your place in the product. And so I talked about that at the Blank Canvas event that was actually in this room. It looks different now, but it's important. If we don't, when you go on the website, it's a brand promise. I'm not buying Gucci, I don't even know how much that stuff costs anyway, but I'm not looking for a brand promise. I'm looking for a vision. I want to know what we think our community can get out of our public schools and how can we grow together. And so I think first and foremost, we need a shared mission and vision so we can all understand what direction we're going. If we don't have a North Star, we don't even know where we're going. So I think with the new communications person and the new superintendent, I see a lot of listening and learning before leading, and I really appreciate that. But it's also up to our community to provide that bottom-up communication in a productive, constructive way. And I feel like I'm good at listening to people and translating what they're saying to somebody else so they can understand and kind of back and forth. And so I feel that I would bring that to the board. Also, some of our communication is a little too high level in terms of cognitive receptivity. The American adult cannot comprehend, 50% of American adults can't comprehend past the 5th grade level. And we need to recognize that, and we need to communicate in a way where everyone understands what we're saying. Thank you.
The third question. Oh, I'm sorry, I do this every time I moderate, Tommy. It's so, don't take it personally.
That's all right.
Yes, Tommy, please.
So to rebuild trust, I think the biggest thing with money-wise and just a lot of the policies, whatever that go through, is just more debate within the board itself, more ideas and not just rubber stamping everything that goes through. When you get $1 million embezzled from you, I don't think you're looking into it enough where that money's going. And then there's a huge trust issue with me. Like we failed one school bond, and they came around very quick with another one that failed again. And for me, it's not that I don't want a new school. I'd prefer to stay in town. I think a school in the heart of town is important, and I think it's a great location. You can walk to the YMCA or beach after school, the ski bowl, and like when I went there, I thought that was one of the best things about it. But regardless of if you want a new school or keep it there, my problem with it is the fact that you get $60 million or so for a new middle school, and then they tag on another 60 to 80 million for all this other stuff. And that's how our Congress runs when they want to pass something that shouldn't pass. They just tag it on with another bill. So you want the middle school, now you have to get all this other stuff with it. To build trust, I feel like we should have middle school in one proposal and all the other things that we need separate from them.
Thank you. So question number 3, we'll begin with Cindy. It's a little lengthy. So, the founding fathers maintained that the success of the fragile American democracy would depend on the competency of its citizens. They supported access to free public education, fostering a populace who would then understand political, social, and civic issues, vote wisely, and protect rights and freedoms, in addition to producing a strong, stable economy and society. Given our district's increasingly diverse population, how would you support and enable these ideals so that all receive a good education, preparing them to live and flourish in America and global societies? Do you want me to repeat that?
You might have to further
Yeah.
down, but
Yeah.
I think I've got it.
Okay.
Okay, so number one, I believe in our public schools. I think that we are fortunate that our country has always felt that education was so important for all of us. And so I haven't said anything about this, but I raised 6 kids, and all 6 kids had different learning styles. I had to be an advocate while I was a school board member, and every time I had to go in and say, no, don't worry about it. You treat my kid like everybody else. And if he does something wrong, you call him out on it, you call me, then he's gonna be in more trouble when he gets home. But we valued education in our home. And the thing is that some of the best teachers my kids had, they were able to teach kids with all different types of backgrounds. They could teach the same subject matter at a 6th grade level and at a 1st grade level, all in the same room. That's what we need to make sure that our teachers are equipped with the skills to cover a diverse group of children in their room. Then they can be successful, because as Heather said, and what I've been thinking about all these last few months is, we have to make sure that we continue to have an excellent school system in Grand Haven, that we are preparing our children for the future. We don't know what the future looks like. We have to make sure that our kids are lifelong learners and that they have the skills and tools to keep learning, to adjust and pivot as changes happen around them. I don't know if I answered the question, but.
No, you shared your philosophy, and I think that's what we were trying to get at. Okay.
Could you possibly just, at the tail end, do the actual?
The actual question? Okay. Given our district's increasingly diverse population, how would you support and enable these ideals that were listed above, so all receive a good education, preparing them to live and flourish in American and global societies?
So, okay, yeah, that's a big question. I think that when you talk about a diverse population, you're talking about many different ways in which a population can be diverse. We're talking about socioeconomic, race, religion, all sorts of different things that makes our population really diverse. And I think diversity is a beautiful thing. I think that you need many different opinions and thoughts brought to the table to get to really cool ideas and have great conversations. I think that it is important when you're thinking about diversity that we enable our schools to interact with people from many different backgrounds, so that we have people in our buildings who can speak multiple languages, and we have people in our buildings that can help families find resources, and that we are providing our buildings with things that we need to make sure that every family in this district has the bare essentials, so that children can come to school fed, warm, and cared for, so that they can learn. Because without those things, they're just not capable of learning. I think that it is a school's job to help children learn what to think about, not to tell them what to think. And I think that as long as we continue to encourage our teachers and support our teachers and our building administrators, and we're continuing working towards that program, I think we'll continue to have success.
I love the Founding Fathers. They did a good job. They were a great document. We're lucky for it. There's a quote by Plato that says, engage in politics or be governed by those who do. And I think our students need to have confidence and critical thinking skills when they graduate, so they can decide if they want certain people to govern them or if they want to govern those other people. And I think in terms of diversity, I grew up in a blue collar home. We could not afford private education. It was not an option. It is our civic duty to provide an education to our children. So when the pipe breaks at the high school, we can call the plumber a mile down the road and he knows how to fix it. And we don't have to worry about our problems locally because we can solve them in our community. That's a huge question. So I think one of the big reasons we're in our situation today in our country is because of our lack of focus on public education. And I don't think we should be teaching our kids like it's 1950, whatever. They should be outside more, they should be out of their seats more. I like the Montessori approach, where it doesn't matter how old you are, you're not in a certain grade, you're kind of learning with people that you're cognitively aware with. Because one thing when you're an educator you learn is that if you don't understand the words coming out of my mouth, you can't even listen to me. And how do you teach someone who can't even hear what you're saying? So if we leave them behind, even though no child left behind, but they can't read, and you get them in high school, they have a 3rd grade reading level, how do you teach them how to write an essay? How do you teach them how to prove a point or solve a problem or find a way to do their taxes? And so there's a lot on the plate of education, and even more so every day, but I also think that if we work together, we can solve the problems. So I just think it's just a little more of working together and being a little more innovative in our approaches to how we teach our kids. Thanks.
So with such a diverse community, which I think is great, that's how America's born, or all the colonists came from all over the European area and all over the world. Maybe not all over the world, but mostly Europe. But we've come from all different areas, different backgrounds, and that's what makes America so great. Everyone working together, and that's where our government, and you can debate, and you have different backgrounds that you can come to different conclusions, and it just makes everything better if we're not bickering and not listening to each other. And with the diversity, oh man, I had something. I should follow these guys' advice with some paper and pen. Yeah, I think the best way to educate a diverse community is to stick to pure, solid education. Not trying to get in all these theories and other things, just a straight, solid education back to the basics. The truth. CRT is a critical race theory. It pretty much says it in the name. They put theories of racism on everything our founding fathers have done, paint them as racist and bigots and slave owners, when it's our Constitution that they created after they beat the British, that they created the Constitution that got America out of slavery, which ended slavery worldwide. And it's teaching us, our kids, that our founders are just a bunch of racists. And the diversity, we have a lot of religious people in the area, and then you have DEI, which teaches you can do whatever gender you want, and if that's what you want to do, that's fine. I don't care. That's your will. You can do that. But did I get a minute? Oh. Alright.
Could I ask you to repeat just the last question again? There's so many versions going around, I want to make sure I answer it right.
Okay, the question itself, following up with what the founding fathers, why they felt public education was important. Given our district's increasingly diverse population, how would you support and enable these ideals that were stated by the founding fathers, so all receive a good education, preparing them to live and flourish in American and global societies?
That still sounds really big.
It is.
So we all want our kids, doesn't matter what, we have a diverse community obviously, but we all come from different backgrounds, we all have different backstories, but I think everybody can agree we all want our kids to be successful in life, whether, whatever careers they choose to go into. I think it's important that we supply the schools with the right tools, like some of these guys had said, so they can get the tools they need to, pursue that path. Some kids, it's hard because we get so many different cultures from all different backgrounds, obviously. So whether it's a at-school thing or extracurricular activity or a club that they can somehow get involved with to help pursue that career, I think it's important that we try to do our best to supply that kind of stuff. I sound like a broken record. Going back to having 5 kids in school, but they all got so many different personalities. I know so many of their friends, and it's funny. Some want military careers, some want to be a pilot, some want to get into engineering. some wanna be a doctor. It would be nice to see more stuff in the schools that actually help these kids with these career choices. Like, we really hardly have any business schools or business classes at all in school. I think there's a couple, but not a whole lot. My daughter's involved in one of them. But it would just be nice to see a lot more diverse classes, so, you know, these kids can get their dreams someday, hopefully, and don't end up like some of us working some jobs we probably didn't wanna do all our life, so. But I think that's all I got.
Okay, we ran out of time, so turn this off so it's making noise.
All right, the fourth question, and it'll be our final question, if we want to give time to go to the table.
I started last time.
Everybody answered, right? I didn't skip anybody on that, okay, that's what I thought, okay. Okay. Public schools and public health have partnered to promoting health and mitigate risk for over 100 years. Vision and hearing screenings, immunizations, and communicable disease, communicable, I guess that's the word, are examples. Do you support this partnership? Why or why not? Crystal, we'll start with you.
Yes, I do support it. I think that when you talk about the founding fathers and what they wanted and how education is part of a healthy community, health is more than just what you actually learn in school. And unfortunately, we are not in a situation where everybody can afford some of these health benefits. And even if they can't afford it, we have many homes with 2 working parents that cannot necessarily get the kids to where they need to go, or they're raising multiple children with multiple issues. I do not support forcing it on any child or any family, but I don't believe that that is what we do. But I 100% believe that the school is often the center point of a community, and your center point of a community should offer more. It should offer anything that it can to help your families and your children be as strong as possible. And like I said before, our children cannot learn. We want them to learn the basics. That's what we're talking about, right? Can they read? Can they do math? But they cannot learn if they cannot see the board, and if they cannot hear, and if they are not getting enough food. So if you were talking about whether or not I think that a school should force
I know.
thank you, right? I do not, but do I think we should provide resources so that children can get health benefits that they might not be able to get through their home? Yes, I do, 100%.
I think partnerships are always good if they have good intentions. My husband, when I told him they could test a kid's hearing with the thing at the school, he said, no, they can go to our doctor. I'm like, no, I gotta take him to the doctor. But some kids don't have the privilege. I was home for 13 years before I re-entered the workforce, so I could do it. But I also think that, so what she's talking about, you can't learn. So if you picture a triangle, at the top is like enlightenment, learning, deep, critical thought, the ability to do something other than just keep your head above water. And everything underneath that is called Maslow's hierarchy of needs, and very famous triangle in education. And under it is our basic needs like food, clothing, shelter. If we can't provide that, or if we're in a very stressful environment, you can't get to the top of the triangle. We want all the kids at the top of the triangle. And so that partnership can help us get to the top of the triangle. So like Crystal, I wouldn't tell you you have to send your kid to the mobile vision center at the school, but should your child not be able to see the board and you can't get your child to a doctor, like, well, what the heck, they're gonna see if they can see, and they can help the kid. So I think it's about balance, but it is about serving the community collectively together in a partnership. So I support it. Thank you.
So I feel like partnerships can be good if you're just talking about, like you said, vision and hearing. Like that would be really good for a kid that doesn't have that at home to be able to go to it and get classes or something like that. But if if it stops there, that's fine, but there's a lot, that's a road you're opening up that can open up a lot of bag of worms. Seattle already has implemented that they basically have full health care for their kids, and that's just a whole bag of worms that I don't want to go down to, because now they can do abortions in their schools, they can do transgender surgeries, and the Michigan Department of Education already has videos out there of training teachers how to keep it a secret from their parents if they want to be called a different gender or a different name. And that is not okay to keep secrets from your parents like that. Your parents need to be in the know if there is something like that going on. That's your number one source, that's your child. And for the government to try to take over their kid like that is not okay. Because now you would have a whole system where they could be gender identified, and they could go through the whole system and they could get their whatever kind of pills you call, and they could end up getting surgery, or they could have abortions all through the school without parental knowledge. The Michigan Department of Education already showed that that's the way they want to go.
I'm gonna stand up while I do this because I got cramp. Sorry. I'm from the UP. I went to a really small school. I graduated 37 kids. So I remember, it's been a few years, but I remember the trailers pulling up in our schoolyard, and we had to go out there. We had a hearing trailer, we had a vision trailer, and we even had a dental trailer come in, and they would show the kids the right way to brush their teeth even. So I'm all for that. I think that's a really good thing to have. And as far as even the shots. Okay? As far as that, as long as it's a decision between the parents and the student, it stays with the parents, and if it's available and it helps a parent out and it saves them some money, and I think we're all struggling financially, especially these days, everything costs a fortune. So I think it's a really good opportunity to supply our kids with what they need, because there's a lot of families that can't support and can't provide the things they should be providing, even school lunches. I mean, it's great that our kids are getting free lunches right now, but 5 years ago, I know there's a lot of kids that weren't. So whatever we can do to make our kids feel like they're not left out. And I think that's that acceptance within the kids too. So if they see other kids and, hey, how come they're able to get this and we're not? And it just makes them feel left out, which leads to not being able to, concentrate as much in school. So anything we can do to make the kids feel more comfortable, I think that's a really good thing. So.
So in Grand Haven, I think we're fortunate that we have so many families that truly are involved in the raising of their children. And I know that, there are some families that are truly struggling because they're working 2, 3, 4 jobs, and they just don't have the resources, whether it be time or money, to maybe take care of some of these needs for their kids. So if we can provide some of these services to our kids while they're at school, it just makes our children's lives better. But we also, I believe in Grand Haven, the administration believes strongly that our families come first. Parents get to choose how the children grow up. Parents get to go into the school and they get to say, no, I don't want this for my child. And our staff has been instructed and they're taught that the parents get to have that voice. And so even if there is a medical service that is available, the parents always have the choice. And did you know that there's a social worker, a full-time social worker in every building in our district? It's a phenomenal thing. So they are there to assist the teachers, the staff, and the children to manage any crises or difficulties that are in their lives. That, to me, that's a part of health also. And I'll bring up vaccinations. So, vaccinations are what help our society. They keep people from sharing diseases. And if you're going to attend our public schools, there are some basic vaccinations that our kids should have. And if the parents don't want their children to have vaccinations, then they need to find another way to educate their children, because they're choosing that they could cause another child to get a disease that could actually fatally hurt them. Thank you.
That concludes our questions, and I want to thank you again for attending tonight to help make informed voters. So the best of luck to all of you. I would like to thank the audience for being here tonight and your desire to be informed voters. It's never been easier to vote in Michigan, although we've been made aware of one voting issue, and I'm bringing it up here so that if anybody's in the Norton Shores area, the Grand Haven School District, Districts 5A and 5B, just so you know, Cindy Casimir's name was left off the original ballots. Muskegon County is reprinting 2,300 ballots. So if you're in that district and you've already voted, you will need to re-vote your entire ballot and get it to Muskegon County. If you've not returned your ballot, please wait for the new one to arrive. And any questions should be directed to the Norton Shores City Clerk. I have her phone number if you need it. I will tell you that Ottawa County ballots are correct. So other ways to vote this year, we've got some new ways. It's there's the no reason absentee voting has already begun with the pre-requested ballots in the mail. You can also request to pick up a ballot from your local clerk now until Election Day. Early voting will be available for the general election starting October 26th for 9 consecutive days prior to the November 5th election. You may vote in any of the following locations during their posted hours: Grand Haven Township Hall, Polkton Township Hall, Georgetown Township Hall, and Health and Human Services Building in Holland. Polls on Election Day, November 5, will be open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. So please find some way to vote. It's very important. So I hope all of you can stay, grab a snack, meet with the candidates. We're going to let them all get to a table and visit with you and enjoy the rest of the evening. And thank you again.